Good morning, class. We're going to try this. This is Math 1A. You'll watch this video in class to learn how to do the stuff. I will do all the problems. I want to say like problem 1, problem 2, and so forth. This section 1-5 is called Deductive Reasoning. Deductive Reasoning. Basically, essential understanding. Given a true statement, you can use deductive reasoning to make a valid conclusion. This is just logic. Just logic. For example, if P then Q, that's what this means. This is if P is the hypothesis and Q is the conditional. So if the hypothesis, what the heck was that? Okay, if the hypothesis of a true conditional is true, then the conclusion is true. So, if P, for example, I guess you could say something along the lines of if you wear long pants, then you are tall. Okay, the hypothesis is you wear long pants. The conclusion is you are tall. All right, I mean it's really almost too silly about it, but that's what the law of detachment is. So if there's lightning, I'm looking at the first problem, this one right here. If there is lightning, then it is not safe to be out in the open. Marla sees lightning from the soccer field. So you can say the conclusion would be, then Marla is Marla is not safe in the open. If a figure is a square, so this is the hypothesis. If a figure is a square, the result is then its sides have equal length. Figure ABCD has sides of equal length. Okay. And so what can you conclude? Okay, the main thing is if there is lightning, okay, Marla sees lightning. These two match. The if is with the lightning, and Marla sees the lightning. Thus, we can say it's not safe. In this case, if a figure is a square, then its sides have equal length. But notice what this says. This says figure ABCD has sides of equal length. You cannot assume the opposite, the reverse of it. In other words, since this is if a figure is a square, this should say figure ABCD is a square. Then you could say then it has sides of equal length. So can't conclude anything. Okay, here's the practice. Just to let you know, collinear means they form a line. Okay. Now, another law of deductive reasoning is the law of syllogism. Golly, that's an ugly word. Basically, it's like a list. So if P, then Q, and if Q, then R, then you can say if P, then R. Because if P is true, then Q will be true. And if Q is true, then R will be true. So it kind of makes sense. Here's an example. If it is July, then you are on summer vacation. If you're on summer vacation, then you will work at a smoothie shop. Conclusion, if it is July, then you work at a smoothie shop. This is kind of like, if you give a pig a pancake, if you know that story, that little kid story. I do. I've had to read it to my grandson numerous times. Okay. So problem 2. Here's an example. If a whole number ends in 0, then it is divisible by 10. If a whole number is divisible by 10, then it's divisible by 5. So let's see. If P, so if a whole number, so we'll call the whole number, we'll use x. So if x ends in 0, that's the if, then it's divisible by 10. If a number is divisible by 10, then I could just use the arrow. I'm going to try to start using notation. Then it is divisible by 5. That's what that means. So, what you can say is, if a whole number ends in 0, then it's divisible by 5. Whole number ends in 0, then it is divisible by 5. Okay? This is what you can say. So basically, you're saying if a number ends in 0, then it's divisible by 10. If the number's divisible by 10, then it's divisible by 5. So you can just say if a number ends in 0, then it's divisible by 5. Okay, here's some geometry notation. If ray AB, that little line right there with one arrow, means it's a ray. Oh, that's not it. And ray AD are opposite rays, then the two rays form a straight angle. If two rays are opposite rays, then the two rays form a straight angle. Okay, so if rays are opposite rays, that's what they're saying. I understand if you don't even understand the language here, because this is very much in geometry. Basically, a ray has a beginning and points in one direction. Opposite rays would point in opposite directions. So those are opposite rays. If rays are opposite rays, then the two rays form a straight angle. They form a straight angle. Okay? And if two rays form a straight angle, if two rays are opposite rays, then the two rays form a straight. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, see, I don't like these. Well, good luck with these two. It seems like they're repeating themselves on that one. All right. If an animal is a Florida panther, then its scientific name is puma, whatever. If an animal is a puma, whatever, then it is endangered. If possible, use the law of syllogism to make a conclusion. If it is not possible to make a conclusion, tell why. Well, if an animal is a Florida panther, then it has that scientific name. Okay, that's the first if-then statement. If that animal has that scientific name, then it is endangered. So you could say, then the Florida panther is endangered. All right? Because they said if an animal is a Florida panther, then scientific name is this. Puma concolor, whatever. If an animal is a Puma concolor, blah, 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 then it's endangered. So you can conclude then the Florida panther is endangered. And that was one of your problems, so I'll let you do the other one. All right. You can use the law of syllogism, and that got blurred out. Okay, this is me doing this by hand, and I didn't do a good job on this page. Using the law of syllogism and detachment. What can you conclude from the given information? What is your reasoning? If a river is more than 4,000 miles long, okay, then it is longer than the Amazon. If a river is longer than the Amazon, then it's the longest river in the world, because I guess the Amazon is the second longest. The Nile is 4,132 miles long. Thus, the Nile is the longest. It's the longest river in the world. It says, explain, what is your reasoning? My reasoning is that any river length, L, is greater than 4,000. It says right up here is the longest river, and if it's longer than the Amazon, it's longer than the Amazon. If it's longer than the Amazon, then it's the longest river in the world. So since they just said 4,132 is the length of the Nile, L is greater than 4,000. Thus, the Nile is the longest river in the world. Okay. It says reasoning. In problem 3, does it matter whether you use the law of syllogism or the law of detachment first? Explain. I don't know. Don't stress about that. That is a new one. My grandson is here. Say hi, Maverick.
Hi.
Okay, now go, Maverick. I'm trying to record this. Okay? Okay, go. Sorry, folks. I gotta get this done. You'll oftentimes have this happen. Use the law of detachment. This is your practice. Okay? It says to use the law of detachment and the law of syllogism to make conclusions from the following statements. If it is not possible to make a conclusion, tell why. Good luck with that. But that is your classwork. The lesson check, that's all you, and that's all you. Guys, I hope you followed this. Maybe this will give you some idea of what to do for the homework. And now you can try the homework and then ask questions if you're stuck. You all have a good evening. Bye.